Back when gas was cheap and tempers ran hot, two legendary 302s went head-to-head. Chevy's lightweight screamer, born for the track but tamed for the street. Ford's tough-as-nails workhorse, packing torque and attitude in every cubic inch. Both could shred tires, both could win races, but only one could be king of the neighborhood. So which side were you on? The high-revving Chevy that lived at 7,000 RPM? Or the punchy Ford that could pull stumps and still outrun the cops? Grab your lawn chair, and a cold one. Grandpas, we're settling this like the old days. This is the Battle of Chevy 302 versus Ford 302. Engine origins. Chevy 302, the Camaro's secret weapon. Picture it, 1967. Chevrolet's engineers, led by the visionary Vince Piggins, had a problem to solve. The SCCA Trans Am series had a strict rule: no engines over 5.0 liters. So what did Chevy do? They cooked up a masterpiece just for the Camaro Z28. They took the block from a 327, the crank from a 283, and created a 302 4 cubic inch screamer. This wasn't just any small block. With a big 4-inch bore and a short 3-inch stroke, it was built to rev to the moon well past 7,000 revolutions per minute, while the big blocks of the day were gasping at 6,000. It was radical, over square and tough as nails. Forged crank, forged rods, forged pistons, and big port heads that loved to breathe at high speed. Sure, it was a little lazy at low RPM, but wind it out, and it'd sing like a banshee, making real-world power far beyond its official 290 horsepower rating. Think 360 to 400 horses on a dyno, and even more in race trim. This engine wasn't just for show. It powered the Z28 to back-to-back Trans Am manufacturers' championships in '68 and '69, cementing its place in muscle car lore. Hey, Grandpas! Wait a second, are you seriously watching this and still not subscribed to the channel? No way! Come on, my buddies, hit that button right now. I'm literally taking a sip of water while you do it. Go on, I'll wait. Alright, now we're family. Let's get back to the engine war. Ford 302. The Blue Oval's answer. Now, don't think Ford was just sitting on its hands. In 1968, they rolled out their own 302 cubic inch V8, part of the Windsor family. Two-slot between the 289 and the bigger 351, it was a workhorse. But Ford had bigger plans. By 1969, they unleashed the Boss 302. Mustang, a car built for one reason: to beat Chevy at their own game. But here's where Ford got clever. The Windsor block was tough, but its heads were a bottleneck. So the engineers grafted on the high-flow Cleveland heads never before seen on a Mustang, giving the Boss 302 the lungs to breathe deep and rev hard. They beefed up the block, added high-strength rods, and made other tweaks to handle the punishment of road racing. The result? An engine that could match the Chevy 302 in displacement and top its airflow. With a reputation for durability and high RPM power, the Boss 302 was a street-legal race car, and it showed Ford was just as serious about winning as Chevy. The legacy? Performance. Chevy 302, high RPM screamer. The Chevy 302, especially in the 1969 Camaro Z28, was built to howl. Thanks to its over-square design and solid lifter cam, this engine begged to be revved, hitting a redline near 7,000 RPM, a wild feat for the era. On the strip, a stock Z28 with the 302 could run the quarter mile in the mid to high 14-second range, with the best magazine times dipping to about 13.8 seconds. It wasn't the torque king, but once you got past 5,000 RPM, it came alive, delivering a rush and sound that made it a favorite for those who loved to wind it out. Ford Boss 302 Balanced brute. Now, the Ford Boss 302 was a different kind of animal. It was engineered not just for straight-line speed, but for handling, thanks to its road race roots in Cleveland heads. The Boss 302 Mustang could also run the quarter mile in the mid-14s, with some sources reporting times as quick as 13.8 to 14.7 seconds, depending on the setup and driver. Where the Boss shined was in its strong mid-range punch and overall balance. It was a car you could throw into corners and still blast down the drag strip with authority. Applications. Chevy 302. The Chevy 302 was a rare gem, produced exclusively for the first-generation Camaro Z 28 from 1967 through 1969. This engine was crafted specifically to meet the SCCA Trans Am Series 5.0L displacement limit, making the Z28 a fierce competitor on the track. Unlike many other Chevy small blocks, the 302 wasn't broadly used across Chevy's lineup. It was a purpose-built powerhouse, strictly for the Camaro Z28 package, during those 3 model years. This exclusivity helped the Z28 carve out its legendary status. Ford 302. Ford's 302, on the other hand, was a versatile workhorse found in a wide range of Ford vehicles over many years. The Boss 302 was the crown jewel of this family. Introduced in 1969 as a high-performance variant designed to dominate Trans Am racing and muscle car enthusiasts alike. But beyond the Boss, the 302 Windsor engine powered numerous Ford models, including standard Mustangs, Falcons, and trucks, making it a staple of Ford's small block lineup. All right, my dear viewers, let's talk about how these two muscle car legends felt behind the wheel. Because numbers are one thing, but the true magic is in the driving experience. Driving feel. Chevy 302, the nimble screamer. Driving a Camaro Z28 with the Chevy 302 was like handling a finely tuned racehorse. This engine was light and sharp, built to scream at high RPMs. The throttle response was crisp and immediate, almost like it was begging you to push it harder and higher. You felt the engine come alive as you wound it past 5,000 revolutions per minute, delivering a thrilling rush of power that made every gear change a pulse-pounding moment. The car itself was balanced and nimble, perfect for tight corners and quick bursts of speed. If you loved to rev it out and dance on the edge of the tack, the Chevy 302 was your ticket to adrenaline heaven. Ford Boss 302, the muscular road warrior. Now, hop into a Boss 302 Mustang, and you're greeted by a different kind of beast. This engine felt beefier and more muscular, with a strong mid-range torque that made it feel aggressive and ready to pounce at nearly any speed. The throttle wasn't just sharp, it was commanding, delivering a punch that made the car feel planted and confident on the road. The Boss 302's road manners were aggressive but controlled, built for both the drag strip and twisty back roads. It was a car that invited you to attack corners and then blast down the straights with equal ferocity. Tuning potential. Chevy 302. Ford 302. Culture impact. Muscle car street legends. Both the Chevy 302 and Ford 302 weren't just engines. They were the soul of a generation's street culture. Built with track-ready DNA, These small block V8 South were perfectly suited for the stoplight wars that defined the muscle car era. Whether it was the Camaro Z28's high-revving Chevy 302 screaming to 7,000 RPM, or the Ford Boss 302 Mustang's aggressive torque V-power hitting the streets with authority. These engines gave drivers the confidence and thrill to dominate both the drag strip and the boulevard. All right, my viewers, here comes the moment you've been waiting for. The verdict in the epic Chevy 302 versus Ford Boss 302 battle. The verdict? No easy winner. When it comes down to these two legendary engines, there's no clear-cut champion. It all depends on your vibe, your driving style, and what you want from your muscle car experience. If you're all about that high-revving thrill, chasing the edge of the tack with a razor-sharp throttle and race-bred precision, the Chevy 302 Z28 is your soulmate. But if you crave torque-loaded muscle with aggressive road manners, strong mid-range power, and a car that's as comfortable carving corners as it is blasting down the strip, the Ford Boss 302 has your name written all over it. Both engines are icons, both have legions of fans, and both continue to inspire builders, racers, and collectors decades later. Now I want to hear from you, Grandpas. Which side are you on? Are you Team Chevy Z28's screaming high RPM powerhouse? Or Team Ford Boss 302's torque-rich, aggressive road warrior? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get this debate roaring louder than these engines ever did. And hey, if you enjoyed this battle of the muscle car titans, don't forget to smash that like button. Hit subscribe for more classic car showdowns. Ring the notification bell so you never miss a revving story. Thanks for riding along. And remember, whether Chevy or Ford, the spirit of muscle lives on in every roar of these legendary 302s.